Hi, Scott with FDJtool.com, and I wanted to show you the MT-70 Microtorch from Master Appliance. It's a great little torch. It's got a plastic body which makes it extremely lightweight. The cylinder on the inside is going to hold enough butane to give you 60 minutes of continuous burn time. It's got tons of great features, perfect for the beginner jeweler, but before we show you all those things, we're going to have to fill it up, so why don't we go ahead and do that. Now to fill the MT-70 Microtorch, we're going to do that just like most any other butane torch. You want to close off the fuel flow from the torch to the nozzle, and on this particular torch it is a black knob that we're going to close completely. Then we're going to turn the torch over to expose the brass nipple on the bottom that is the inlet for the butane fuel. Now take the stand off here so you can get a better view of it. This one has a hole in the center which would allow you to go ahead and fill the torch without removing it, but I wanted you to get a better look. We're going to need a good quality butane. We use Ultratane here, but as long as you find a good triple refined butane, use something good like that, because something with impurities or anything like that can gum up your torch and render it useless, and you don't want that to happen. Take your butane, shake it up a little bit because it's under pressure and it's cold, and that warms it up a little bit. You're going to invert your can, and you're going to insert this nipple into the brass fitting that's on the bottom of your torch. Now you want to do it straight down perpendicular to the torch. If you're at an angle or not quite on there, you're going to hear maybe a little external hissing. You might even see a little puff of butane as it comes off, and those are good signs that you're not perpendicular and inserting the butane into the torch. But if you do it straight on and down, you'll hear the internal hiss, and you saw a little splashback there. That told me that our tank was completely full. It did have some butane in it beforehand, because I wanted to show you how to use the torch, but topping it off, you saw that sputter. My tank is completely full, so we don't need to put any more in. Put your butane away. You don't want to have it anywhere near your work surface when you have torches. Go ahead and put the stand back on, and what we'll do is show you how to ignite it and use the torch next. Now before we ignite the MT-70 Microtorch, we have to learn about its safety feature. It's got a great one built into it, because if you're using your torch at the house or any place where there might be children or other people that you don't want to touch the torch and obviously ignite the torch, it's something nice to have. Because if you notice, when I go to press the button on this torch, nothing's happening. I can't get the torch to light, and that's because of the safety feature. And here it is. It's got a silver plunger on the bottom here that has to be pulled out in order for the start switch to engage. But before we do that, you got to make sure that our fuel is going to be getting from our tank to our nozzle. So remember that black knob on the top? We're going to go ahead and open it up just to about 2/3 of the way or so, so we have a decent flow of fuel to our nozzle. Now with one hand I'm going to pull down that silver plunger, and with the second hand I'm going to press the trigger switch all the way till I hear the click, and then I can release the plunger, and now we've got a flame ready to use. But if I let go of the trigger, the flame goes out. And that's another safety feature built into it, because in order for this flame to stay on, we have to engage the continual flow switch on the back in order to keep that switch locked in and the torch on continuously. So again, to ignite the torch, I'm going to, with one hand, pull down the silver plunger. With the second hand, I'm going to press the button till I hear the click. And then once I've got it depressed, I'm going to rotate my switch in the back to continuous flow. I can let go of the trigger, and now I've got a torch ready to use to do great soldering or other heating work. If I adjust the black knob on the top, I can adjust the amount of fuel going into the flame. So by closing it off, I can reduce the amount of fuel that goes to the flame, and by opening it all the way, I can let fuel flow freely to the flame to get as large a flame as I can. If you forget, there is a plus and minus arrows on the top that remind you which way to turn the knob in case you forget. The only other thing I should point out is this black slider knob on the side here. This is a shutter valve that regulates the amount of air that gets into the air-fuel mixture of our torch. With it in the default position, it's allowing as much air as it can into that flame, giving you a nice oxidizing flame here. But by sliding it forward, we're cutting off the air and thus oxygen to the flame, and it turns into a reducing flame. And then letting go, sliding it back, turns back into an oxidizing flame. You can't lock this into any particular position because it is spring loaded, but what you can do is hold your torch and slide it forward and back with your thumb and finger like so. Quite easy to do there. And there you have it. When you're done using your torch, simply go to the back, move the continuous switch to the off position, and your torch turns off. Don't forget that once you've used your torch, that metal tip is going to get hot. So remember that when you're handling it or putting it anywhere on your bench. And when you're done completely with your torch, you want to make sure to rotate your fuel knob all the way to the off position, thus no fuel will flow from the tank to the nozzle. And that is the MT-70 Microtorch in a nutshell. My name is Scott with FDJtool.com. Where you place it on your torch or how you handle it.